Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hello, 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 and welcome. How is everybody? It is Monday. How you doing? Monday, April 30th, 2018. I am Darkside Phil. Welcome to the first day of a full week here of double streams. There's 10 gameplay streams coming your way before I take a break this week. Pretty cool, right? It's going to be exciting. Today is the final day of April, which means a few things, okay? It means that we're starting up a week of variety. Since we are heading into May here, and I am in the midst of many different gaming projects and series, I decided this week's going to be a ton of variety, and I will explain that here on the pre-stream so you guys know what to expect this week. All right. Number 2, it is the final day for you to pledge to my Patreon and to get in on the Patron's Choice Playthrough event. All right, I'm going to emphasize this right off the bat on pre-stream because a few people have pledged, which is great. You know, probably I'd say maybe 5 people kind of pledged in the last week in order to get part of this event. But I get the feeling a lot of people are not aware of what's going on because they don't really pay attention to this kind of stuff. You know, Patreon, it's really awesome, the Patreon support that I get. But as you guys know, I don't really emphasize it that often because it's more about streaming these days, right? But right now, if you pledge to my Patreon by the end of today, which gives you about roughly 13 and a half hours left to pledge, all right, $5 or more, you will be getting in on the Patron's Choice Playthrough. That means you will have the power to nominate and then vote on games that will be in the running for Patron's Choice over the course of May. Usually, it'll probably be around early June. We'll close off the polling. We'll determine the winner. And then sometime in June, we'll begin the next Patron's Choice playthrough. If you're not aware, what it is a game that I'm committing to playing a full playthrough of, whatever wins the polling. All right. And it is going to be a game that's going to be streamed and on YouTube. And it's a perfect opportunity to have a downtime style game that I balance with other big releases. You know, there will be big releases going on in June. Just in late May, there's 4 big releases. And then in early June, there's Vampire. And then there's going to be all the E3 stuff. And undoubtedly, when E3 coverage comes out, there's always new releases that sneak out during that period of time, okay? So all that being said, if you want to be a part of that process, you have to pledge to my Patreon by the end of today. $5 or more, okay? Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. All right. So, guys, welcome, welcome. I see more people are joining the stream as I speak, so let's continue. Allow me to let you guys know what you can expect this week, because we've got a lot going on this week, variety-wise. We've got 2 ongoing major playthroughs, both of which, if they go, you know, according to plan, may actually conclude this week. I don't know if that's really the case, but they may. We'll see what happens. We've got some returning stuff. We've got some stuff that I haven't done in a while for variety's sake. So allow me to explain the big variety week, okay? First of all, we got today, Monday, starting off with God of War, the ongoing playthrough that I played for a straight week, and then I decided to take a break from. We're coming back to it today. I'm going to start off trying to defeat the Valkyrie that beat me last stream. I now have better armor and equipment, so maybe I can go back and beat her now. We'll see. Then I'm just going to go back right to the story, because I've actually been told, it was actually King Swaggins here in the chat who says that as you continue the story, you backtrack to certain areas where it allows you to do side content you didn't do originally when you were first in those areas because you didn't have the ability to open those doors. For example, didn't have the ability to blow up the Yggdrasil dew or Yggdrasil sap. Didn't have the ability to cut the blue vines, right? So now, apparently, I'll have the ability to do that stuff. So it makes sense. Now, why not continue with the story? Because it seems like the story is going to venture into side content as I continue with the story. So that's going to be the focus of today. First the Valkyrie, and then the story of God of War. You know, 4+ hours of God of War gameplay here on the stream. And yes, guys, apparently, from what I'm being told, we are approaching the end game. That if I keep this up, you know, on and off, then, you know, I should be able to beat it probably within a week, all right? And it won't be every day. As you guys are about to hear, it's going to be kind of alternating amongst the other things that I do. But I think it's going to work out well, and I think that overall it's going to be a fun conclusion to the playthrough, all right? So that's today. Then tonight, guys, it's PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, all right? Fun 2-hour stream, interactive stream. As you guys know, when I play PUBG, it's very interactive. Hadn't played a PUBG in a long time. And then I brought it back Friday night, and a ton of people showed up and loved it. They were like, man, we missed this kind of interactive stream. We want more of this. Do it more often. I said, okay, then this week I'll do it a couple times. Since people seem to love it, we'll do it again today. Okay? Sounds good. All right. Then tomorrow, Tuesday, talk about variety. We're completely mixing it up. Tuesday is going to be Bloodborne, the Redemption run on my first gameplay stream. If you guys have been watching the streams or caught up, you'll know I am now up to Ludwig. Ludwig is what defeated me, what crushed me when I first tried to do the Old Hunters DLC back in 2015. All right. So here we are, and we are ready to defeat him. I am ready to take him on. I don't care if it takes me, 10 minutes, an hour, or the whole stream. I'm beating Ludwig on tomorrow's stream. Matter of fact, it's happening. He's going down. I'm getting my revenge. We're ending the suffering for sure. Ludwig will be crushed like a cockroach under my boot. He must be defeated. All right. And then, of course, continuing on with the Old Hunters DLC after I beat Ludwig. Okay. Then, tomorrow night, the return of Yakuza 6. So, see what I mean? This is a fun variety because every day we've kind of got like a fun gameplay stream that I really want to do plus a stream that the viewers want to see. So, today it's God of War and then PUBG. Tomorrow, Bloodborne, Yakuza 6. Wednesday, God of War again, returning. So, continuing on with the God of War playthrough on Wednesday. And then Wednesday night, for a rare one-off stream, all right, I'm going to do Call of Duty. And I know I haven't done it in a while, and in fact, a couple weeks ago, I believe that they patched the game and kind of changed a lot of stuff about it. I'm not aware of what the changes did because I haven't played it in a while. So I'm going to do a one-off Call of Duty World War II stream Wednesday night. Okay? Just for fun, just for variety's sake, to mix it up. All right. Thursday, Bloodborne. And quite frankly, it may be the final Bloodborne stream. It all depends on how things go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat the Old Hunters DLC because people are telling me that some of the final bosses are incredibly difficult and it may take me upwards of, hours to beat them. I guess we'll see how it goes. But yes, Bloodborne returning on Thursday. All right. And then Thursday night will be more Yakuza 6. Okay. And then Friday, Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's right, my weekly dose of Street Fighter action in order to keep me, up to snuff and not rusty, so that I can prepare for the impending, now less than a month away, release of the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. I can't wait, man. So yeah, that's coming up, and that will be the main stream on Friday, and then Friday night, PUBG returns. So PUBG twice this week, okay? So that's kind of the week in a nutshell, Monday through Friday. Talk about variety. I mean, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different games this week amongst the 10 streams that we're doing. That's pretty good, right? And hopefully, like I said, by the end of the week, I should be wrapping up, possibly, God of War, possibly Bloodborne, or at the very least, being near the end of both games, So either way, they're going to be wrapping up probably in the next week anyway. And then this Saturday is my day off, so. And then I don't know about the Sunday, Monday next week. We'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens with these playthroughs and see what what situation we're in, what I should continue on with those days once the week has gotten further in. Sound good? All right, there you go, guys. All right, so there's your schedule. I hope you're pleased. I certainly hope that you guys are pleased with the schedule. Okay. And, I'm pleased with variety. I didn't, let me put it this way. I did enjoy playing God of War for a straight week. I did. The game's good enough that, in my opinion, it held up and it was really fun. It wasn't fun for you guys, apparently. A lot of people complained the game wasn't too entertaining to watch, and they wished that I had done more stuff. So now I'm doing more variety, and to be quite frank with you guys, yesterday, the Bloodborne stream was insanely popular. People were going nuts, loving it. Friday, both the Ultra Street Fighter 2 and the PUBG streams, people went nuts and said, these are amazing streams. Why don't you do this more often? So that's why this week you're seeing the big variety that you're seeing. That's why we're doing this instead of oh, you know, just the same thing all week. Easily, I could play God of War all week and probably finish the playthrough by the end of the week, but then people would get bored. And I don't want that to happen. I want to keep it so that people are coming to the streams every day. I need you guys coming to the streams every day. I can't have you come for one day, get bored as hell, and then, you know, not show up anymore. That would not be very productive. All right? I want you guys to have fun and feel like every day when you come here, there's something different and something fun. I mean, that's the core of being a variety streamer, is that I'm not just doing the same kind of content day after day after day. I'm mixing it up to make it entertaining for you guys, okay? All right. So, I've been tracking everything, how everything went in April. Overall, April was a pretty good month. It certainly wasn't a bad month, but it certainly wasn't an amazingly good month. It was kind of just a decent month, mostly because it was kind of slow until I started with Bloodborne, and then God of War was good on YouTube, but not on stream. By the way, I should mention my YouTube views that I had boosted for a week there for God of War are now back to normal. So, you know, if you guys are enjoying the streams and enjoying the videos, you know, and you're here live on stream, you know, contributing, you know, via various methods, which I'm about to explain via the plugs, is very much appreciated. Since YouTube, like I said, is back to normal, it does suck that when I have a slow stream, it kind of hurts me, you know. So, whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. Certainly no pressure, but I am incredibly appreciative of anything that you guys contribute during the streams, and I'll explain in just a moment the methods by which you can do that, okay? I really don't have much else to say before we get into the plugs, except, you know, we got a few usual characters who are just sitting around whining in the stream chat, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm real tired of it, and you know who you are. Here we go. In fact, one person is literally, at this moment, complaining, and all they do usually is sit around and complain. This person's been banned multiple times and then gets let back in via mercy, yet still sits around and complains. So, people are not here to just hear you vent your complaints. You know what I mean? Like, this is a stream chat for a fun, interactive gameplay stream, and if you don't like what you're seeing on the stream, no lie. There's probably about 4,000 billion jillion other fucking streams you can watch. So if your point is to just sit... Alright, enough. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Now he's timed out. And let's see if he learns his lesson. And if he continues to complain, he'll be permanently banned. It's that simple. I'm just tired of it. There's certain people who come in here every day and all they do is complain. It's like, but why are you here then? You know, you know what kind of stream this is. You know the kind of games I play. You know what to expect on pre-stream. Yet you're here complaining every day instead of just doing something else with your time. And quite frankly, I'm tired of looking at it. And I know a lot of people are tired of looking at it. Because this guy's become a running joke at this point. And by the way, I should say, it's not just him. There's other people too. But in general, if you're not enjoying what you're watching, why are you here? And the other thing is there's hundreds of other people watching and enjoying what they're watching. So it's obviously your problem. So, so we don't need to hear you constantly spewing the stream chat and wasting everyone's time with it, all right? In fact, now I'm getting requests to get this guy permanently banned and don't let him back because he's annoying and people don't like him. Wow. Yeah, I really try to be a nice guy, guys. I do. I try to be a nice guy. I give so many chances. This guy has had like 1,000,000 chances. And he's been warned 1,000,000 times, too. Alright, so anyway. Now that that's out of the way. Alright, so guys. Let's go ahead. Let's get to plugs. Let's talk a little bit about that. Get that out of the way. And then I'll do shout-outs to those who have contributed. Alright, and then we'll get started with God of War. Sound good? Alright, okay. So thank you guys for being here live on the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you for a good month in April. Overall, April was a pretty good month. I'm looking forward to May. Because at least in May, we've got way more new releases. Finally, it seems like we may have a few strings of new release games that are exciting. Rather than just kind of holding out for one major release a month, which is really what happened in April. All month, they're just waiting for God of War. Because there was nothing else going on. At least in April, we've got many new releases in the form of games such as State of Decay 2, Detroit Become Human, and Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. We may have some variety with some other stuff thrown in there as well. But I'm looking forward to the month. I hope you guys are too. All right. Thank you for your support. If you love watching my live streams, if you love watching the videos on YouTube, if you love everything about it and you want to see this continue on a daily basis the way that I've done it for 10 straight years, yes, 10 years I've been doing this, folks, there's many different ways that you can support the effort. All right. First, I've already mentioned Patreon, so I'm not going to go into massive detail. I'll just say patreon.com/DarksidePhil. Anything you pledge to my Patreon campaign directly helps me, obviously. You earn perks and rewards for what you pledge. In particular, right now, $5 or more by the end of today, you'll get in on the Patron's Choice playthrough. All right. And that's the big feature right now. I think definitely people should be pledging to get in on that. It's an unprecedented amount of control over an ongoing playthrough I'll be doing in the future. All right. There's also my Teespring shop. All right. And on my Teespring shop, you can buy all kinds of fun merchandise, including t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and mugs, all of which I love and I own a bunch of. So I can attest to the quality because I personally wear the shirts. I personally use the mug daily. I love the quality of the Teespring stuff. All right. Anything you buy from my Teespring shop, I get a commission from and it helps me out. Okay. All right, so now we are getting rid of a troll who's spamming racist stuff. Sorry, guys. And I also timed out someone who is also a regular complainer in the stream chat. And now they know who they are. So there you go. That's 2 people now timed out. Let's see if they learned their lesson or if they earned their permanent bans today. 2 people who literally just sit here to crap on stuff constantly. Let's see if they learned their lesson. Okay. So anyway, yes, check out my Teespring merch, guys. I think that you guys are going to enjoy the quality of the stuff if you do happen to buy anything from my Teespring shop. And, you know, thank you to anyone who happens to buy anything there because it does give me a commission for every sale. It helps me out and you get a cool collectible. All right. Pretty nice. Now, obviously, guys, if you were here live on stream, you may be thinking, well, gee, you know, what could I do? Well, if you want to shout out during the stream, you want to either, you know, jump in with something fun, something silly, an observation, a question, whatever it is, all right? You can get a shout out during the stream if you either cheer with bits, if you subscribe to the channel, or if you tip me $5 or more, all right? All 3 of those things, and you will get a shout out live during the stream. Now, there's some criteria that I want to lay out there, all right? So, first of all, if you are looking for a shout out, please understand that you need to be as short-worded as possible. If you come out long-winded with a giant paragraph, I'm probably not going to read the whole thing. Keep in mind, this is a gameplay stream first. And yes, there is interactivity, and that is part of the fun. But it is a gameplay stream, meaning I can't just constantly be interrupting the gameplay and holding up stuff to read out giant paragraphs, all right? Number 2, please, if you're going to look for a shout-out, please try to be positive. Please refrain from insults of any sort. Please refrain from drama of any sort. Meaning coming in here and saying, Phil, did you hear what this latest person insulted you doing this or that? Did you hear you were in a YouTube video in a negative way? And herpa-derpa-der. This is not the place for that. All right? And in the past few days, we've had people who've come in and not abided by that. And I was very lenient, but, you know, if the stream chat gets derailed by that kind of stuff, I'm not going to allow it to happen. So, please keep it positive, all right? In general, people who seek, you know, shout-outs during the stream know what they're doing, and, you know, 95% of the time, I would say, you know, we're good. No issues. Sadly, there are a few people who are bad apples and or they just don't get it, but the majority of the time, it's a fun, interactive stream, and it's not a big deal, all right? Now, if you want to go the extra mile, all right? If you want to go the extra mile, and if you want to get an actual on-screen animation, an on-screen animation for your contribution. So not only visual, or not only verbal, but visual recognition as well. Well, then if you need to either cheer 50 bits or more, or you can subscribe to the channel and wait a few minutes, and then a share button should appear, and if you can click on that, or if you tip me $5 or more, any of those 3 things, you'll get an on-screen animation. All right, and that animation is a thank you animation for your contributions, designed by longtime viewer, fan, and moderator, Popsicolo. All right, so they're pretty nice. Shout out to Popsicolo for making those for us. Makes the streams a lot better, you know, for sure. So, yeah, pretty cool that you get the both visual and verbal recognition for your contributions, all right? Now, a couple quick things, and then I'll get to the shout-outs, and then we will get to gameplay, all right? So, first thing. This is the last chance to subscribe to the channel and count for April. If you guys are not aware, all April we had a subscriber drive. We always do. And it's been fluctuating this month. We went from as high as like 460 something down to like 400. At one point we really did only have around 400 subs. So it goes up and down and up and down. It depends on the time of the month and what games I'm playing, etc. Right now we're at about 439 subs. We already hit the tier 1 goal, which is the fact that I'm bringing back the Patron's Choice playthrough. So thanks so much for your support this month, guys. But coming up, you know, we were trying to hit 475 subs. If we do it by the end of today, we do it. And we hit the tier 2 goal, which means I'm going to do a funny DSP Tries It video. Sadly, I don't think we're going to hit it unless a miracle happens. All right? If a miracle happens today and, you know, some 40 people subscribe, boom, we'll hit the goal. And I'll be fine looking for some fun, you know, kind of comedy-style products to do for DSP Tries It. But we may not hit it. But I just want to say, guys, regardless if we hit it or not, thank you. Like I said, it was a good month. There was good support all around. People on stream were good in general. I would say the God of War streams were real slow, but everything else, including Bloodborne in particular, was great. You know, YouTube views were good this month because of God of War, so everything was pretty good. So thanks for that. I definitely appreciate that. All right. So there you go. The other thing I want to talk about is tipping, because I already mentioned that you can cheer, sub, or tip, right? And some of you might be saying, well, what do you mean by tip? I don't understand, because cheering and subbing is all through Twitch, but what is this tipping thing? Well, you can leave me a tip via PayPal, all right? How do you do so? Well, if you are watching the stream live right now, you can look below the stream on my Twitch page, and there's a grid of information. And this information is very informative. You've got the stream rules that you definitely should be reading. Also a link to my YouTube channel, DSPGaming, and a bunch of other information. But there's also a link that says tips or tip me, tip section, okay? If you click on that, it's actually got a picture of me posing with Pokemon. It'll take you to the tips page where you can either leave an anonymous tip or you can leave your name and a message to get a shout out during the stream, all right? Or maybe you don't see any of that stuff I just described. More than likely, then you're on a mobile device. You're using the mobile version of Twitch, which doesn't list any of that information. If that's the case, you're still good. What you need to do is type !tip into the stream chat. And this will bring up the tips command, and a link will pop up that you can click on to take you directly to the tips page as well. All right. So, thank you to anyone who contributes in any way, shape, or form. I'm very appreciative for your contributions. All right. So there you go. All right. I think it's time to start with some shout-outs. All right. It's time for some shout-outs. Are we ready? Are you ready? All right. So, first of all, guys, overnight, there were a few people who contributed. It's always awesome when people keep me in mind. You know, they remember me. Overnight, when I'm not even live streaming, they come into the stream chat and, you know, let us go ahead and give credit where credit is due to those who are really awesome. So, first of all, Kuro the Black subscribed to the channel overnight. Thank you, Kuro the Black, for the sub. Appreciate that. Infinite55 did a 100-bit cheer. Thank you, Infinite, for the 100-bit cheer. I appreciate that. And Pirate of Gold resubscribed for the 3rd month in a row and said the end of May can't come soon enough. Here's hoping the Street Fighter collection has amazing online play. So a 3-month resub. Thank you very much, Pirate of Gold. I should comment on this. I am really hyped for the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. Now, this may be misplaced hype, guys. It literally may be misplaced hype. And I hope it's not. All right? But the thing is, guys, if you are a longtime viewer of mine, you know that I grew up in the 1990s in arcades. I played arcade version of Street Fighter 2 since launch, which was 1990. I want to say it was either 91 or 92. I forget which year it was, but I've been playing, Street Fighter for the greater part of almost, 25 plus years. And I grew up with the classics. Started off with every version of Street Fighter 2, then moved on to Street Fighter Alpha Series, and then after that, Street Fighter 3 or Street Fighter 3 and the various versions of Street Fighter 3. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just realized that I left my speakers on. Hold on, I'm gonna go turn them down. Give me a second before I forget. Okay. There we go. All right. So, I actually grew up for a decade. I was playing these games, primarily in arcades, and then later on, when the 2000s came around and arcades basically became way less prominent to the point where most of them, in my area at least, in Connecticut, kind of went out of business. Everyone started playing games on consoles. And so it still continued on. Games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, etc. continued to be played on home consoles for a long time. So I know way more about the classic Street Fighter games than I do about the modern ones. And that's admittedly, I never really had the time or opportunity in the last 10 plus years that I've been doing YouTube to sit down and really hardcore play a fighting game. Back in the day, in the 90s when I grew up, I would go to the arcade every weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday, but usually it was Friday and Saturday nights, upwards of, 5+ hours, sitting there playing against local competition. Then at the mall, the local mall that I worked at, they also had an arcade where I would go on breaks and stuff. I would play at the mall. So basically, I would play the living crap out of fighting games back in the day. And that's how I got good at them. Playing against a variety of competition. At video arcades. And, in the modern era, games like Street Fighter 4, etc., yes, have I played them? Absolutely. Did I go to tournaments? Sometimes I did. But for the most part, I really haven't. I really haven't, been focusing on fighters. When a new fighter comes out these days, I'll play it for about a week. I'll mess around with various characters, play the online play, definitely go through if there's a campaign mode, and look into other, modes. And then that's pretty much it. Every once in a while I'll go back and I'll play it for an online session. But I definitely don't get into modern fighters the way that I did the classics. So the reason that I'm so excited about the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, it's games from my past, in particular Street Fighter 2, but of course Third Strike I would say as well. Alpha not to the extent as the others. Like I'm actually really good at Alpha 2. But Alpha 3, not so much. Alpha 3, I didn't really play as much. So I know I'll do all right, but I'm not going to be doing, amazing in that game. Because I never learned things like the V combo juggles and lockdowns and shit like that. But the reason I'm so excited is because this is going to be the first opportunity for many people to experience the games that I grew up with in arcades firsthand. You know what I mean? In regards to this modern generation of gamers who are on PS4 and Xbox One have never had an opportunity to be exposed to the classics. Last generation you did, like if you had an Xbox 360 or a PS3, there were games like Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix. The Xbox Live Arcade had games like Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting that were downloadable. So there was an opportunity to play them. There has not been. Oh, by the way, there was a Third Strike, right? Third Strike also was part of a digital release on Xbox 360 and PS3. But there has not been an opportunity in the last several years for anyone to really play these games, unless you have the Nintendo Switch and you played Ultra Street Fighter 2. And let's face it, that's pretty much the worst version of Street Fighter 2 there's been. I mean, it's really bad. And not because the gameplay mechanics, even though there is some broken shit with Akuma and V-Ken, but the online play is absolutely terrible. It's so laggy because everyone uses wireless on the Switch that most matches end up being just horrible slow-mo and not even competitive. So, I cannot wait to see the classics I grew up with being played by a new audience of people, right? A whole new generation getting to experience them for the first time with, hopefully, knock on wood, I'm not superstitious, but I'm doing it anyway, hopefully, with great online play. Because that is going to make or break this game, in my opinion. I mean, there's a ridiculous... It's got Street Fighter 1, all 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, all 3 versions of Street Fighter 3, and all 3 versions of Street Fighter Alpha in them. But there's only 4 games that have online play enabled. Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and Street Fighter Alpha 3. If the netcode is good, or at least halfway decent, we could see some really awesome competition. We could see tournaments. We could see a reinvigoration of classic Street Fighter. And I think what's going to happen is that people are going to play these games and be like, holy shit, so this is what Street Fighter came from, right? And now you see what Street Fighter has become with Street Fighter 5, and you're just going to shake your head and be like, what happened here? Because look at these, the classics have footsies, spacing, reactionary gameplay, timing, a wide variety of fighting styles, you know, and then you play Street Fighter 5, and it's like, what the hell happened with all this crap? Seriously. So, I certainly hope that this collection is good. If this collection comes out and the online play is abysmally bad, I mean, oh my god. What better way to celebrate Street Fighter's 30th anniversary than to release a non-functional collection? I mean, ugh. Because here's the thing, if it is good, in particular for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I could show you guys high-level strategies with most of the characters to show you how to succeed in this game. Like, show you here's combo ability, you know, here's viability of what beats what. Here's good matchups, bad matchups for each character. So yeah, I have all this stuff that I can show you guys firsthand in the game if it's good. So we gotta hope that it's good, because the bottom line is if the online play sucks, all attention that this collection will be getting is pretty much going to die out and fizzle out, and no one's going to care about it. So I hope Capcom has learned their fucking lesson, and they're now going to release a viable version of this game for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Oh, one other thing. Someone has promised me they're going to give me a code for the game on Xbox One, but I already said I'm buying it on PS4. So if this is the case, if this actually happens, then I'll have 2 versions of the game. And it doesn't matter what console you guys own. I'll be doing sessions both on PS4 and Xbox One. So how cool is that? You'll be able to play against me, you know, in both versions. So for once, like the first time ever, I'll own both versions of a game, and I'll be able to play with you guys no matter what. That's unprecedented. I think the last time I did that was, no lie, Street Fighter 4, which I owned both on Xbox 360 and PS3. So that would be pretty cool, right? I'd be pretty excited for that. So there you go. I think it's going to be a fun experience, and I'm looking forward very much to it, and I hope you guys are as well. All right. All right. Okay, so now, moving on to those who cheered, subbed, and tipped during this stream as it was live. Facetious Snake. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Facetious Snake, for the sub. I appreciate that. All right. YOLO Dopper cheered. He said, why can't just everyone be mature? So many trolls just trying to get a jolly. It's ridiculous. I know. Well, it's because they have nothing else to do. When you have no life of your own, of anything positive, you waste your time trying to throw negatives at other people. You know? That's just the sad fact. Is if they had something better to do, they'd be doing it, right? But it is what it is. Facetious Snake tipped me $8. Thank you very, very, very much. Facetious Snake for the $8 tip. He says, been watching since 2009. Keep on streaming and kicking ass. Thank you, Facetious Snake, not only for the sub, but for the tip. It is much appreciated. Now, we got an anonymous troll tip. It's an obvious troll tip, but I'm going to read it anyway because, whatever. It's not super bad or anything. I got a $1 tip anonymously. Hey, Phil, I just watching some of your old 2010 playthroughs, and you seemed very happy and energetic the whole time. Nowadays, you look a little downtrodden while streaming. Are you okay? If you're suffering from depression, there's help. So it's obvious this guy's a troll, all right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a vast difference between 2010 Phil and 2018 Phil. The first and foremost is I'm 8 years older. I was in my 20s back then. In 2010, I hadn't even made a penny doing YouTube videos at all. I never, had no aspirations to become a YouTuber who made money doing this. It was just a hobby for me. I had an office job that I worked during the day, and then I would come home, and gaming would be my release. Because a lot of times I felt like I was underappreciated and overworked at my job. I certainly knew I wasn't getting paid what I was owed for the work I was doing, because I wasn't doing customer service work, which is what my job title was. I was doing continuous improvement work, which is a much higher pay grade. But they were underpaying me on purpose to get the work done without paying the appropriate salary. So you know, I would come home and I would enjoy, you know, for a couple hours a night, the fun new release. I would record with a camera, which, by the way, sounds completely different when you're recording with a camera than when you're doing direct capture like I do now. And it would be at my leisure. There was no live streaming back then. So what I would do is record with this camera and just upload casually. Every day I would maybe play a couple hours of gameplay. You know, I think since I did around 10-minute parts, you know, I would record for 2.5 hours, and I'd have like 15 plus videos that I'd upload every day. All right. So that being said, you know, that would be my release. I get to come home from work, which is really stressful, but for 2.5 hours, I get to play a game at my own pace, right? With tons of breaks, by the way, because a lot of people don't realize that, but when I used to play games, I would take breaks like crazy. That was back when my back injury was really bad, so I couldn't even sit still. So I would be playing for like a half an hour, then take a break, walk around the house, you know, have a drink, whatever. Then come back, play another half an hour, then take a break. That's how it used to be. People don't realize that because they weren't there in person with me when I used to play games and record, but that's how it used to be. It's not like I was doing live streams of constant 4+ hours of solid gameplay with no breaks, all right? So yeah, if you watch videos from 2010 and you compare them with what I've been doing recently, of course it's going to look different. First of all, I'm now live streaming, which means there's really, you know, very few opportunities for breaks. A lot of the times I have to now be micromanaging. It's not just me playing a game. It's me playing a game while reading stream chat and interacting with everyone, while monitoring the stream and making sure everything on the stream is working well. By the way, while micromanaging the amount of time I'm recording, because I have to split the parts for YouTube while I'm live streaming too. So I'm literally doing 3 to 4 things at once when I'm playing. It's kind of hard to, you know, be overly, oh my God, I'm happy, energetic, bouncing off the walls when you're doing 4 things. You know, I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So it's a little bit more serious now. You know, real talk. It really is. It's a little bit more serious doing this stuff the way that I do it now, because I have to make sure that everything's up to snuff and there's no problems and everything's going well. I have to make sure people are entertained and I'm interacting. You know, there's a lot of stuff to keep track of versus just point a camera at the TV, right? You know, and like I said, back then, it was a hobby. It was something that I got popularity on the internet for, but I didn't make money doing. So quite frankly, and this is the God's honest truth, I didn't give a shit if people liked what I did or not. I was like, I'm going to put out a style of video. If you like it, great, watch. If not, I don't care. Because it's not anything I'm doing for money anyway. It's just something silly that I'm doing on YouTube as a hobby, right? Today, I do have to make sure that everything I do is important and you guys are enjoying it. For example, perfect example is this week. You know, I can't just play God of War all this week. I can't. I already did it for a week. Streams died. Streams went super slow and died out. And, you know, now I realize, man, yeah, I got to pay my bills. I got to keep things more varied so that people will come back to the streams. I got to mix in Bloodborne and PUBG and other games. Because if I don't, I can't pay my bills. You know, it's a different situation, you know, and it's reality. And in a lot of ways, it's better. Like I said, I definitely enjoy what I do now better than I did when I used to just do the offline kind of style, where I just used to record and upload and ignore stream chat. That was, you know, in my opinion, a waste, you know, and now I realize this. Of course, back then I didn't, but now I realize that ignoring that and not having that interactive aspect, not having that aspect of making it a fun stream rather than just, oh, gameplay, ignoring everything else, right? I think it's very different, you know what I mean? You know? So, yeah. Watching 2010 DSP versus 2018 DSP is going to be very different things. Times have changed dramatically in 8 years, you know. I lost my job. I had to do this for a living on YouTube. YouTube has plummeted 1,000,000 times, and then I moved, and then I changed my style again and again, and, you know, then I was single. Now I'm back in, you know, a much happier place, and I'm, you know, doing interactive streams. It's different. Everything changes. This is reality, and this is life, guys. You may not realize it, but, you know, things don't stay the same perpetually. And quite frankly, if they do, usually they get stagnant. You know, I'll be honest here. There's a lot of things out there that barely have changed, and they're kind of stagnant at this point. How many people say The Walking Dead now is boring as hell because it's ran the same way for 8 years, right? I'll be honest with you guys. I probably could not ever sit down again and watch an angry video game nerd or a nostalgia critic video. Not to say that they're not the same or they're not as good as they used to be, but they really are kind of the same thing for 10 plus years, and some things just lose their appeal after time. You know what I mean? Me at least in my regard, I've changed things up a million times. I went from being this guy who just did it for fun as a hobby, a couple hours a day with a shitty camera, to a guy who did it more professionally with a widescreen camera and started doing full playthroughs, to a guy who then took it up as his job and did it for 2-3 years as an offline thing, then adopted live streaming and became, more of a hybrid streamer, YouTuber, then became way more professional, got an office to do this in with professional grade equipment, so I sounded a lot better, I looked a lot better, then adopted again on the fly and became more of a full-time streamer than anything else with webcam all the time, and, it's very different what we're doing now, man, and you know what? I'm happy that I've changed because it keeps things fresh and different. If I were still doing things with a camera pointed at the television, right, in 2018, no one would be watching my videos. I mean, just being real talk here. Just on the equipment alone, people will be like, what the hell is going on? Why is he still doing this, right? So, I'm happy with how things have gone. Anonymous, $1 tipper. It's obvious, again, what you're trying to do is say something negative where there is nothing negative. It's just you trying to, get a rise out of me or whatever, and you're not going to get it because there's nothing to get a rise out of. There you go. All right, so Rave Comic cheered. He said, I've actually really benefited from watching your pro-level gameplay, even on current Street Fighters that you play. Well, the truth is, when I play more modern games, it's definitely not pro-level gameplay. What you see when I play a modern fighter is basically 25 years of fighting game fundamentals. Things that I've learned over time about fighting games from playing so many fighting games over a period of time that they kind of hold up no matter what, okay? Spacing, footsies, anti-airs, reactionary gameplay, wake-ups, reversals, etc., okay? Counter hits. I know all about this from playing fighting games for so long. So, yeah, what you're seeing is someone who has a vast knowledge of fighting game fundamentals trying to apply those fundamentals to various fighting games. If anything, I think the reason that I hated Street Fighter V so much is because they threw out most of the fundamentals. They turned the game into an online lag pattern game because the game had so much lag and input lag by design, by the way. They intended for that to be when they designed the game at launch, that the game could no longer be played like a classic Street Fighter game in any way, shape, or form. You had to just basically learn cheap, stupid patterns online, and it didn't even feel like a fighting game in a lot of ways. After a few weeks, so many things were crappily abusable and just not fun that I hated the game, But it is what it is, I'm glad that you learn from watching me play stuff because more than likely I bring to the table stuff that other people who play these games don't. These other people, a lot of the people who are known fighting game players are not people who grew up in the era that I did. Yes, there are OGs that are still around, but a lot of these guys who have stepped up in the past 10 years are guys who've only played the modern era of fighters. They don't even understand half the fundamentals of fighting games because they haven't been prominent in recent fighters, as fighters have been dumbed down for the masses. Okay? So, that is awesome, and I'm glad to hear that you did, learn from just watching my stuff. Okay? Alright. Rave Comic also did another cheer and said, would be cool if you did a classic camera stream on your anniversary just for fun. There was something about how it used to be back then, the nostalgia would be too high. Well, sadly, it's probably not going to happen. Mostly because I don't really have the viability to do it. I mean, I found one of my old cameras, and it does still work, okay? But I don't know if I would have the proper lighting and setup and everything to do it. Plus, doing it that way is kind of silly. I mean, what I would do is I would still capture and live stream the way that I do now, but I could also have the camera going. So it would be like every time I stop recording for direct capture, then I stop recording for the camera. Then I start them up again, But it's a drastic difference. Just in particular, to give you some perspective here. Right now, you guys could probably hear it in the background. My air conditioner is running. It's not on yet. It's actually just on fan. When I do start with gameplay here, I am going to turn it on. Okay? But right now you could hear it, but it's certainly probably not, oh my God, my ear, it's blowing out my ears. When I recorded with a camera, every time I had the air conditioner on, it was like, durr, like big droning atmospheric wind you could hear. Buh. It was loud as shit. You know what I mean? So, it's just a lot of negatives to doing it that way. So we'll see. You know, maybe for a throwback, but quite frankly, most people are not even going to remember me doing videos in that style. I mean, it was 2013 when I adopted direct capture, so we're talking 5 straight years I've been doing it, direct capture. I've basically been doing it now. I've been doing videos just as long with direct capture as I have been with the camera. In fact, if you actually do the math, it was fall of 2008. So you say 2009, 10, 11, 12. And then I've actually now, and this is actually true, been doing direct capture longer than I ever recorded with the camera. That's true. Because, yeah, I did it for about 4.5 years with the camera, and then I went direct capture in early 2013. So it's been over 5 years now direct capture. So I've been direct capturing longer. There you go, guys. That might blow some of your minds, but yeah, it really was the old days of doing things like the Wild West with a camera, right? All right. Atlas Telemon did a 50-bit cheer. He says, that win with T-Hawk against that high-ranked Violent Ken was epic. Yes, that was pretty sweet. That was pretty sweet. It was pretty entertaining. If you don't know what he's talking about, on Friday, I played Ultra Street Fighter 2. And sadly, there are people who just need to abuse the 2 incredibly overpowered characters who should not be in the game, Akuma and V-Ken. And there was this one V-Ken who actually was highly ranked. He had a good amount of points and everything. And was just basically doing cheap, abusable V-Ken stuff. And I had T-Hawk. Now, I'm not even that good with T-Hawk. And it was a really close match. At the very end of the match, he was going to do his V-Ken teleport behind Dragon Punch, which is unblockable online. So while he was teleporting, I said, fuck this, and I buffered 360, but I buffered it double, because I didn't know when the timing was going to be because of the lag. The game gave me a super. So he was teleporting behind me to basically cheese and try to get a cheap win, and I grabbed him in the middle of the teleport and did the super throw for like 90% damage. It was pretty impressive, and people went nuts. It was quite good. But that's what I mean. Like, when I play Street Fighter, classic Street Fighter, it's usually a great time. People really enjoy it because you get stuff like that happens because I have such drastic knowledge. You know what I mean? Drastic knowledge of games that most people don't have. And I was able to pull off stuff, that most people don't even know exists. So, it's pretty fun. All right, Alice Telemon cheered again. He said, thank you for switching it up with PUBG. Almost time for the 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter. Yes, it is. And, no worries. Like I said, definitely got to mix it up from time to time. And I understand that people were getting bored with the same shit every day. And that's why I'm bringing back PUBG for a little bit. Not all the time, but, maybe a couple times a week. Excuse me. Concrete Casket just resubbed for the 7th month in a row. And said, cheers to 7 months of laughs and bugged mechanics. Thank you, Concrete Casket. Atlas Telemon cheered again. He said, your voice during Street Fighter 4 gameplay was much higher. Does laughs, you probably can't hit that pitch now. No, I can't, man. I've actually started talking about this recently. That, back in the day, as I said, I was not recording all day. Back in the day, on an average day, I would probably record maybe 4 to 6 hours of gameplay. And it was very much spaced out across the day. I would wake up and film for a few hours, and I would take breaks in between, frequently, resting my voice and the like. There was no live streaming. And, I had days off to rest my voice and stuff. It wasn't like every day I was pressured to be streaming for hours and hours. Instead, I had days off to rest my voice and everything. And what's happened is over the years, my voice has gotten, different because of the constant amount of work that I put in, I remember it was actually around, I'd say 2012, when I started to get worse allergies, or throat issues because of the fact that I was doing this full time and I was recording more and more. And I started, looking and going to the doctor and stuff. And the doctor told me, oh, you got throat irritation and, allergies can affect this and you probably talk a lot. I can tell and blah, blah, blah. And I remember when I moved out here in 2014, my throat got so bad in 2014, no lie, I went to the doctor and they were like, oh my God, it's really inflamed, so you got to take a few days off. And I was like, well, thank God I'm moving, because now I'll have the opportunity to rest my voice up. And that's really what happened is when I moved out here in 2014, it was like a week when I didn't do any videos and actually help my voice recover. And typically what happens is during different times of the year, my throat gets good and bad. Right now, my throat's okay. It's not amazingly perfect, but it's not bad. So right now, I could, talk, stream. But you're right. I can't do high-pitched stuff anymore. I can't even laugh high-pitched anymore. I play the music on pre-stream. And you hear me talking. That's me. That's 2010 Phil. It's 8 years ago Phil talking in those videos. And I can't talk like that anymore. I can't. My voice has gotten way more raspy, way more lower pitched. And that's because of just years of work of talking. All I do all day is talk on stream, right? And it changes you. Ask any radio host, ask any professional singer. They'll tell you that when you do stuff like this over and over and over, that it changes you, okay? And in these days, I'm trying to do more stuff. I have throat coat tea. I have lozenges. I do think when my throat does not feel great, I do those things. But in general, it is what it is. You get older and things change, and that's it. You're right. I don't have the high-pitched voice I used to have anymore. I don't. I can't even do the high-pitched crazy laugh anymore that I used to do. I can't do it. Rave Comic cheered and says, PUBG has to be the big cow at this point. It gets so much interaction. Chat is fun. The big cow? I don't know about that. I would actually say that Bloodborne in general has been doing much better. But the reason that people like PUBG is you're right, because the game has almost nothing going on in it. For a good 15, 20 minutes of every PUBG match, you've got me just going around driving or going from house to house looting. And so during that time, there's a lot of opportunity for me to talk with you guys. And it basically becomes kind of an open Q&A session where we talk about such a wide variety of topics that people want to cheer, sub, and tip so that they can get their comments in and I can interact with them. So, so there you go. That's pretty much the situation. Sorry, I just got an email. I'm just double checking what it is. Nope, it's just notifications of the tips that have come through today. So thank you for that, guys. Appreciate that. But anyway, PUBG is fun because people get to interact, and that's why they're motivated to cheer, sub, and tip. All right, as opposed to another game where I'm hyper focused on the game and there's not a lot of chat interaction. So I can understand that. But at the same time, PUBG is not super entertaining, and it's not something that I want to do all the time. So maybe 1 or 2 times a week. Okay. Shout out to Alice Telemon again. He says, sorry that I hyped Sea of Thieves. I was wrong. I was not expecting much out of Sea of Thieves. From everything that I've seen about the game, I thought it was going to be boring. And I was right. So there's not much else to say about that. Don't worry about it. Fairly Stone has resubbed for the 14th month in a row. Thank you, Fairly Stone, for 14 months of support. I do appreciate that very much. He says, hi, DSP Pepe. So he uses the DSP Pepe emote as a sub. And Atlas Telemon cheered and said, will you do an Infinity War video after you've seen it? No, because I'm not going to see it till it's on demand digital. And I already know what happens because honestly, I knew so many people would probably try to be assholes and spoil that I just read a plot synopsis online. Because I didn't want people to be dicks and constantly be trying to spoil a movie. I just told everyone I already know the plot, so can't even do it. Can't even spoil it because I already did it myself. There you go. So... nope. You won't be seeing any videos about Infinity War from me. There you go. Alright, I guess that's it for shoutouts, guys. So, by the way, I should bring this up. If you guys aren't aware, it's Monday. And every time Monday hits, it's a new week here on Twitch. So, we've got our new cheering leaderboard. So far, here are the standings. Atlas Telemon in first place, 200 bits. Infinite 55, second place with 100 bits. Rave Comic, third place with 75, and YOLO Dopper in fourth with 25. So thank you guys for your contributions. At this point, since it just reset, pretty easy if you guys cheer to be getting to the top 10 of that leaderboard. Top tip for today is, hold on, it scrolled off my screen. Top tip for today is Facetious Snake, that $8 tip. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Rave Comic just cheered and said, this is a shout out. Thank you, Rave Comic. So, yeah, thanks, guys, for your contributions so far today. I do appreciate it. And I think that's it. I think it's time to end the pre-stream and to jump back into God of War. As I said, what I'm going to do now, I just bought all new equipment and armor. I'm going to head back to that Valkyrie and try to beat her. And then we're going to go to the story. And you're going to see some major story progression today. I think it's going to be pretty fun. All right. Fair enough, my friends. All right. Well, folks, that is it. Thank you very much for being patient. Hope you enjoyed the pre-stream. And now it's time for the God of War to continue. Thank you. And let's begin.